What is going on, Pokemon community? It is Achilles018 here, and today we are talking about my top 10 simple shiny Pokemon. That is, Pokemon whose color palette barely changes when it becomes shiny, but it makes a tremendous difference. Typically, Pokemon like Gengar and Garchomp get a lot of flack for their lack of change for a variety of reasons, ranging from perceived laziness and color selection to complaints that the Pokemon are either tough to hunt because it's easy to mistake them for their non-shiny forms, or similarly, that the hunts aren't worth it because aesthetically it's about the same as the non-shiny form, and for some players it becomes less rewarding as a result. These shinies, however, are the ones that I feel made the fewest changes with the most impact. If you love shiny Pokemon like I do, then you're ready to get things started, so let's go. Number 10. Shuckle. Starting with a pretty simple but loud change, Shuckle is one of my favorite shiny Pokemon, and it's mostly due to its simplicity. The red shell around Shuckle's worm-like body turns from a bright, solid red to an equally bright and solid blue. It isn't grabbing your attention by being neon or overly vibrant, and it also dominates your eye's attention because the blue really bounces off both Shuckle's yellow body as well as the white trim around its shell. The Pokemon with the best defense in the game doesn't need to defend its shiny palette, and Shuckle comes in at a strong number 10 at my list. Number 9. Litwick. This ghostly candle is, truthfully, usually extinguished. Its candle only ignites when it's actively stealing life energy from people or Pokemon, which explains why we only ever see it with its flame lit. It's stealing our energy as well as our Pokemon's as we encounter it. With that said, while I love Litwick's deep blue flame, it appears a lot less cool but a lot more haunting when it changes to a bright blue with an almost unnatural green tone toward the base of the flame. Speaking of green tones, Litwick's eyes change from a candle in the window yellow to an eerie neon green. Now this looks like a Pokemon that is in the process of stealing your soul. I put you on the list just like you asked, Litwick, so please spare me as I place you at number 9. Number 8. Beware. One of the more iconic Pokemon from the Alola region comes to my list today to show off its shiny face. Literally. Aside from a very minor paw color change from pink to red, the obvious change here is Beware's fur from the neck up has changed from pink to gold, with the band on its head and ears having remained a neutral white. While this change is obvious and loud, the simplicity I love comes from the fact that only about 15% of its total body mass changes color. Its pre-evolution Stuffle also shares the same palette changes, but Beware does it better in my opinion, and it's here at a strong number 8 on the list. Number 7. Glalie. Those eyes say it all. Similarly to Beware, the appeal of this shiny comes from the vast majority of its body staying the same, but a minor detail changing significantly. Glalie's change isn't as major, but it's just as impactful. Its eyes change from a cool, icy blue to a piercingly warm red that practically melts away the reality of its eyes typing in the best way. Other Pokemon like Lunatone and Aeron put the same trick on, but I feel Glalie does it best. So, Glalie joins us at the number 7 spot. Number 6. Entei. One of my favorite legendaries also has one of my favorite shiny palettes. The Volcano Pokemon only has 2 distinguishable changes in its shiny form, both to very small portions of its large body. But the difference between the two forms is staggering, and in my eyes, these are practically 2 different Pokemon. The skin on its face below its eyes changes from red to gray, while the fur on its neck and chest gets darker. This palette change is simple, but also complex. When I think of a volcano, I think of 2 things: lava and smoke. While the brighter colors on the non-shiny form, especially the red on its face, definitely make me think of lava and magma, the shiny palette has doused the fire and the emphasis is completely on the smoke and ash that can be just as brutal and deadly. Entei is on fire, but there's a few who are hotter, so Entei settles in at a firm number 6. Number 5. Darmanitan. The one and only returning guest from my top 10 underrated shiny Pokemon list, Darmanitan's palette change does cover most of its body, but the color change is slight. Despite that, it makes all the difference though. In Darmanitan's original form, the flames of its eyebrows sort of get lost against its dusty red fur coat. In its shiny form, however, the jump across the color spectrum by adding more purple to the red of its coat allows for the unchanged flaming eyebrows to really pop. This move from a dull red to a darker one makes a huge difference, and Darmanitan doubled down at number 5. Number 4. Zapdos. I adore this legendary bird, and I was elated when I snagged it while soft resetting in the Ultra Space above Alola. Not only is this the best of the legendary bird trio, but its shiny is amazing as well. This change is so subtle that even veteran shiny hunters may have to do a double take while soft resetting for this bird. As I have stated previously, I am a sucker for color palettes that better highlight a Pokemon's typing, and this is another one of those. The move from yellow to gold is a simple one, but is much more reminiscent of the lightning accompanying this Pokemon as it soars across the stormy skies. Zapdos is as good as gold at the number 4 spot on the list. Number 3. Munchlax. Munchlax's palette change to a deeper, more navy blue is one of my favorites. Munchlax's evolution, Snorlax, shares the same color swap, but my appreciation for the younger Munchlax colors is a bit more lore-friendly. As mammals age, they generally lose color in their hair or fur as the hair begins to age and eventually die. With that said, I would imagine the natural progression of Munchlax's fur as it evolved into Snorlax would get lighter and lighter as it aged. So, Munchlax's fur being dark, thick, and colorful is a sign of its youth in the world, and I enjoy tidbits like this even if it's likely not intentional and it's just the stuff of my imagination. So, Munchlax comes in at number 3. Number 2. Pikipek. Another youthful Pokemon whose palette swap I enjoy, but for a different reason. Pikipek is such an iconic Gen 7 Pokemon to me, as to the best of my recollection, it was the first Pokemon outside of the starters that we saw in the form of concept art during the reveal trailer for Sun and Moon. Alola is a tropical region, and Pikipek's feathers on its head changing from red to a vibrant magenta seems much more tropical and exotic to me, and I think it plays strongly into the tropical feel of the region. For this reason, Pikipek was the first Pokemon I shiny hunted for in Gen 7. Pikipek's shiny changes got more dramatic as it evolved, but I enjoy it in its most simple state. So, Pikipek is a strong number 2 on my list. And finally, number 1. Reshiram. The legendary Dragon of Truth. Reshiram is part of the Tau trio, but is a direct counterpart to Zekrom, the Dragon of Ideals. This Pokemon is entirely white to symbolize this. The small changes made to the rings around Reshiram's neck and tail make a huge difference to the feel of this Pokemon. When these bands are originally white, they are almost unnoticed, making this dragon appear majestic and freed, pure in body, mind, and spirit. The color swap on the bands to gold, however, makes them the point of focus, not the dragon. These golden bands are very reminiscent of bondage bands, which completely change the scope of how this dragon feels for me. That which was once free is now constrained. This duality may seem like I'm reading too far between the lines, but this idea of Pokemon servitude, as well as capturing being more about confinement and fighting than friendship and relationship building, is a common and recurring theme in Generation 5, which is the generation that Reshiram is discovered in. Reshiram was the first shiny legendary I ever caught, and this concept has both interested me and troubled me since the first moment I caught it. I may never have my answer, but I definitely have a clear number 1 on my hands, as Reshiram takes the top spot as my best simple shiny Pokemon. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's Pokemon content as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel so I can continue to make better quality content for Poke fans just like you. If you want to join the conversation, leave a comment down below. I do read them. That's all for me. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon with more Pokemon content.